First, I want to read a quote from probably the most important quote of the Buddha, in my view. Through countless births in the cycle of existence I have run, not finding, although seeking the builder of this house. And again I face the suffering of new birth. O house builder, now you are seen. You should not build a house again for me. All your beams are broken, and your ridgepole shattered. The mind has become freed from conditioning, and the end of craving has been reached. In my mind, that's where we want to end up as practitioners. But the practice is a journey, which is why our teacher, Tai, reminds us it's a path, not an instrument or a tool. Our themes from our first think tank were deep, deeper, and deeper still. I've been reflecting on what that insight really means in terms of teaching and practice as we think of how to proceed with our unfolding as Lotus. Deep, for me, refers to a basic mindfulness practice, a basic understanding of what mindfulness is, in the sense that mindfulness is a practice of non-superficiality, where we learn to slow down, we learn to stop, we learn to rest, and we learn to calm, and possibly begin the reflection on what it means to live a life that awake. Deeper, for me, is the work of dismantling our conditioning. The rose bush in our yard is a great example for me. It's dismantling itself and mantling itself with new roses at the same time. I just think that's so amazing, and it's so difficult for us as people to do this as such an organic, normal process. Deeper is repatterning our neurology, rewiring our nervous systems. It's building the skills of resilience. It's learning what helps us overcome our traumas so that we can be free to serve the whole world. In the Buddhist sutras, deep might be referred to as the teachings on the Four Noble Truths, or the teachings on the Four Foundations of Mindfulness. Deeper is the teachings on emptiness and compassion, which flows out of the realization of non-separateness, and the mind of love being cultivated. So as we get deeper into the practice, we are not only working on our own healing and our own transformation, but that process opens us up to the impetus to care for others in deep ways. And deeper still is doing the work to find our own embodied divinity. I'm a little influenced by Andrew Harvey's weekend that we attended on sacred activism. But the insight for me had to do with deeper still is really learning how to be comfortable with our own holiness. Learning how to be present as I wrote down a Dharma shaman, a Dharma artist. So for me, it is not simply about Zendos and sitting meditation. It is how to embody the Dharma in whatever it is we do. And by the Dharma, there's two definitions classically. One is the teachings of the Buddha and commentaries about that. But the other is Dharma is about phenomena. So deeper still is learning how to contemplate every phenomena that emerges within us and around us, and see in it its emptiness, and experience in it its call for our wise compassion to be fully embodied. And this is the work. If deeper is dismantling the master's house, deep is recognizing there is a house, right? Deeper is recognizing that house has been constructed by history, by family, by sociality, by evolution, etc. And deeper still is recognizing, or as the Buddha put it, becoming free from conditioning. Becoming free, not from the master's house, but from the house builder. So once we understand the house builder, manas, we can really begin to build a new foundation to construct a new house. The key is not to be confused that what we'll create next won't need to be healed and transformed again. This is where I think movements and religious life can really get stuck. It's thinking we have arrived and now we just hold on to it instead of living, letting it live and breathe and flow into being. And so I'm interested in doing deeper still work. And that for me means training people to take what I have learned and do what they want with it. For me, this is studying sutras, helping people understand how to understand the sutras in a modern way, based on science, based on our own experience. It's about applied practice, whether we're a school teacher or a doctor or a nurse or a gardener or whatever our daily activity might be. It's about embodying the mind of love and all that. I think the other thing that where I'm fascinated, maybe some of you are, maybe not, I've been experimenting with creating different kinds of meditations, and I call them adaptive meditations because I'm taking some of the insights and teachings from neuroscience and integrating it into a guided meditation practice. So I've started to make a list of meditations that I'm experimenting with. I'll be introducing some of these in the Earthgate class, but neurosensory meditations. I think we should explore. I'm interested in creating neurosocial so that we can begin to understand how our nervous system and how our minds influence our social interaction and presence with one another. Neuroimaginative, neuroshamanic, but I think recovering our shamanic mind, which we tend to think only other people have, is very important. Some of you already know I've been doing this work for most of my life, and I'm only interested in going deeper because what I've realized is if you don't go deeper, the work will burn you out. And the second thing I realized, if you don't go deeper, you cannot untangle the master's house because it's still in you. And if you don't go deeper, you cannot realize how you create your own suffering and your own joy, your own peace. Though it's different in every location, but the common theme I see for Lotus is we are shifting. We're in transition from how we used to set up retreats, how we used to organize retreats, into new models of organization, who comes to retreats, what kind of retreats we do. And we have to be creative here, but I'm one of the questions I get constantly is, how do you think we can ever all be together? And my answer is, we can't unless we do deep work. Not possible. So many people do not understand what this is about. Literally, they've not been educated, they don't have the experience. And so I'm not interested in spending time either convincing anybody of anything. There isn't time. Because what we know from human experience, this is a great report from the recent American Psychology Association conference. It doesn't matter, the research is in, it does not matter how much information you have. If you don't have an experience that helps you change your perception, information means nothing. And so for me, part of the challenge for us is how do we create experiences for people so they can have a shift. We have people who have been in mindfulness retreats for years who, in my opinion, have not gone to deeper. They are simply enjoying stopping, resting, and calming, which is wonderful. except I'm not interested in teaching, stopping, resting, and calming unless it's from a deeper, still point of view. And so very little work has been done on helping people with their conditioning and how to decondition ourselves. And there's lots of great teachings on how to do that very practically in meditation life and in daily life. You know, we are divine manifestations. We're not just names of countries and colors and genders, though we're all that too. But we don't need to let that get in our way of being revolutionaries in the deepest sense of the word. So in light of what we talked about, I was thinking of a method from the work of Jean-Paul Sartre on the revolutionary. And he says that the revolutionary stands in reality in the present moment where bullets and barricades are real. And then that person projects themselves ahead and imagines something different. And then whatever they imagine that's different, they bring back as a light to shine on their current situation. And that tells them what the truth is. And the truth is what the revolutionary thing is. It's a remarkable, just simple practice of projecting ahead, coming back with what your vision or insight is, looking at your current situation and okay, how must we now move? Grounded fully, but not caught in the present.